Smart technology also incorporate such a term like artificial intelligence. And what is the artificial intelligence and how can we understand it? The artificial intelligence is a science of a machine to perform a human tasks. And artificial intelligence now is made up from different algorithms that help us to make or produce a result according to the input data, and this result should be produced by only a machine, like a solution for a problem. And this is typically an iterative process according to which the machine adopts its behavior to produce the expected solution. And here, the subfield of artificial intelligence can be represented as a layout of different data sciences and sciences that concern the artificial intelligence for nowadays, including the machine learning, the neural networks, the deep learning approaches, the cognitive computer, the computer vision, and natural language processing. And starting from the machine learning, we need to understand what happens within the software that makes it possible to, for example, distinguish one person from another according to its picture. For a human, it is a very simple problem, but for a machine that can only understand the different values that are represented like a real number or integral number, and it should find a way to distinguish the differences between different pictures, because for the picture there is no a face or eyes or mouth or nose. For the particular storage system, there is only a combination or a matrix for intensity of light or the combination of red, green, and blue colors. And this matrix represents nothing except the numbers for the machine. And here we need to understand what model can be used to produce the necessary output that help us or that can make a difference from one person to another. And here the machine learning process, it is an approach where we solve a solution by not the analytical processing by a human and finding the differences and finding the way how can we code or program our software to make this difference, but to teach the machine to find the difference itself. So that within the machine learning we have two different approaches as the education with a teacher and education without a teacher. And where a teacher here is the necessary output represented as a number, and according to this number, machine should adjust its internal parameters and characteristics to produce a solution that can be at the second stage or a second iteration much closer to the expected one. And another solution for the machine learning, how can we understand it, is the education without a teacher, where a machine have to split the different characteristics of the elements and to produce the necessary output according to predefined number of solutions. And those problems are typically concerned to the clustering problem. For example, if we have a number of people and we would like to separate them according to their height, and we would like to say that, okay, we don't need the particular numbers of their height, but we would like to produce 5 groups of these people. And the machine learning should find a necessary parameters intrinsic to its model to produce all of the 5 categories of people according for their height and, for example, hair color. The neural network here The neural network is a prototype of biological network that were examined by many scientists and represented as the electronical unit, and that is why it's named as an artificial neural network. The neural network is a very simple representation of math function that accepts several inputs and have to produce the necessary output. And compared to neuron, the neuron can react according to the input that it receives. And if the input is not good enough for this particular neuron, the neuron will never produce an output. That is how the artificial neural network is organized, through the million or thousand different neurons that are interconnected to each other and represented as a layer after a layer. The deep learning here is the term that depicts the solution of a many or a big number of layers of a neural network. So within a deep learning, we can, for example, incorporate more than 1,000 layers of neurons to produce a necessary output. And one of the solutions of nowadays and state-of-the-art neural networks are convolutional networks that help us to understand the nature. So before the convolutional network, we had to program our model to separate eyes or some features of the image that can separate one element to another. So for example, if we would like to distinguish cat from a dog, previously we had to find ourselves those differences between a cat and the dog. But with the convolutional neural network, this model can find these characteristics itself.